Hello and welcome to the Heed Army podcast, a podcast that doesn't get circumcision and I forgot the word already. It's an awful start. I thought I was going to be quite good there. Circumcision and yeah. So we don't want to anyway. So we've started as we ended the other one. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us here on the Heed Army podcast. If you haven't been with us before, of course, it's all about Gateshead Football Club and me and Mickey getting stumbled on my words when we're trying to be clever. Tonight we've got a good show. We have topics that I have to say we've upped our game. These are the topics tonight. We've got Michael Midland coming on from Fair Game UK. Also, as well, we asked the question: should you rest the players this weekend with the Charlton game coming up? We're going to be joined by Mason Ford, and we've got the two great away wins to talk about as well. And the show is fully interactive. And say like and subscribe on all of our media, social media, and you'll find out anything that's happening along the thing. And we've got Gamer Lad 123, but you's all right, lads. We are. Thank you very much for joining us. I think that's the first time he's messaged in as well. So thank you very much. Andy Masons, but evening gents, hashtag get up the heed. It is. It's fantastic. And we've got Gordon Man, lads. How he's doing tonight? Well, I've got a slight and Mickey's got a cold. So if you hear any coughing or me wincing, it's we're battling through because we're hard lads.
I'll just cough. When it wore on like you did the last time.
Oh, I know. I was all right. All right, girl. On one, yeah. So if you are new to the show, please just send in a message. That's how it works. And got any questions? Don't be frightened to answer them. No, if you're new to Gateshead, want to find out anything. Also, as well, before we get on to get into the bones of the show. 1,500 tickets were sold pretty fast for the Charlton game. So if you want your tickets, get onto the club social media and website. You'll get links on how to buy them. And fantastic take-up of tickets so far, Mickey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so there should be. Big game for the club. I'm hoping there'll be 3,000 to 4,000 there, easy. I'm really hoping that. I'd be quite disappointed if there's not.
Well, I would imagine the local media will start to ramp up things in the build up to the game from Monday onwards, I would imagine. And James Gowron's put Heed are doing class at the minute. They certainly are. And Charles Waff has put Mickey, I'm still waiting for David to drop a gem. Well, I tried to at the beginning there, so yeah, it's I'm just an idiot. So yeah, it's a fantastic support. Hopefully, it should be down there. It should be Gateshead National Stadium in front of the TV cameras. Hopefully, we'll be loud and proud. I'm sure the clothesline will do us absolutely proud on that game and the rest of the stand as well while we're at it. But we are going to be joined by Michael Midland from Fair Game UK. You may have seen some things in the press today about an independent report about how football is run, and they're suggesting things to the government and the football and governing bodies that looks like it could be starting to take momentum, and we'll be talking about that with Michael when he comes on, and that's fantastic. Obviously, Mason Ford as well. We reached out last week. We said any fans that want to come on, Mason told us in the chat they did, and if anyone else would like to join us in the coming weeks, we are always welcome to have you on and talking about Gateshead. But let's talk about the two away wins. Mickey, I'm going to put this up in the background before Michael joins us. It just was a fantastic week for Gateshead, wasn't it? Going away to Spennymoor, getting the win there, and then going away to Kirsten Ashton. A pivotal week in the build-up to the FA Cup game. Of course, that's in the background, but the lads didn't shirk and didn't concentrate on that. They concentrated the game at hand and went out and got 3 points in both of them.
To be honest, it's been a whirlwind last few days. Starting with the Altrincham game and the Spennymoor game, and then back down to Curzon. It's just the week rocketed by, absolutely rocketed by, and first up against Spennymoor should have been 3 or 4-0 up. Got the Adam Campbell scored. I mean, anybody who was there will tell you that. Done exactly the same at Curzon. Should have been 3-0 up at least at half time. At Curzon, I'd walked past me and said, you should be 3-0 up. And I was thinking, God, let's hope we're not at Spennymoor where they get a goal and we're going to go. It seems as if, I don't know, it was weird. It's always harder playing against 10 men for some strange reason.
Yeah.
The Spennymoor game, I mean, what a strikeout it was by McLean.
Yeah, it's a lovely finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lefudu, what a fullback they've got there. And we dug in, got the second goal. Blackie scored a good goal. Then, like I say, I went down there on Tuesday night, footballed them off the park.
As I say, we've got this footage in the background. This is from Gateshead FC, Jack McGragan on the YouTube and social media. So if you want to see it with the sound on, and also just while we're at it before we go into the Curzon Ashton game, a massive well done to Jack McGragan for that production that he did of the Insight to the Centurion with Greg Ollie. We were really flattered that they used footage from the podcast and audio and from the commentary, and I say it was just a beautiful piece of work, and big well done to Jack McGragan. And
absolutely spot on. I mean, what was his last? I can't remember what the last video was, but that was an absolute pearler, and I won it.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was now, and I apologise to Jack, but
done some good ones.
He's done some fantastic stuff, and long may it continue.
Definitely.
Hopefully, he's got even more good footage to use. I mean, who knows? Could be in the third round.
Yeah, well, I think the way he's shooting it, you think it had been on Netflix. It's that beautifully put together. So as I say, big well done to Jack, and keep up the good work. And I say this. One thing I noticed throughout it, because he used commentary from early on when Ollie was doing it, and I think we've got a better with sound quality. So those a couple of them were a bit screechy. Although people will say that I'm screechy anyway when we score, but no. But Curzon, I'm seeing, we're just seeing there in the background there, Mike Williamson scoring the winner
from a corner.
I know. I was expecting it to be a header as well. I was expecting it to be a header.
I'm in amongst that somewhere on there. Wouldn't have made. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. We scored a goal from a corner away from home. I was delighted for the gaffer as well as there's his goal for the season. So it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's good enough when you win, but when you actually see them score from a corner as well, it's kind of floored us a little bit.
It certainly is. We've got messages coming in. Keep them flying in, Robbie, or from whatever platform you're watching on, either on YouTube or on Facebook. You may wonder, we have stopped broadcasting on Twitter because the messages just weren't coming through from Twitter watchers. So we just apologise. We found out that we're missing messages. So we know that they come through on these two platforms. And also as well, I think it cuts down the possibility of the stream being a bit iffy if it's not going out to another destination. Right, we've got a message here from Sam Pennant, but 2 great away wins. Great to see the Gaffer scoring on Tuesday night. And I popped onto Mark Crover's podcast because I helped him with his. He wanted us on for the Gateshead section. And I mentioned something, and it was something I was going to say on here first, but I said it on there. At the minute, it feels like we've got 2 captains on the pitch, because obviously you've got the player manager in Mike and you've got Greg, and both performing at the front and at the back. It's quite a setup we've got at the minute, isn't it?
It's going well. I mean, to be fair, I thought we're trying to work out who we'll give man the match to in the last few games, and it's been really hard to pick one. It's really hard.
There's been lots of players around. Well, what we're going to do is now we are just going to play an advert from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by, I've been calling him Michael, and it's Mark. Apologies, it's Mark Midland. I've been calling him Michael. I think I've even done that on social media as well. Apologies. So when we come back, we're going to be speaking to Mark, and we'll be going into depth about what fair game is, and of course, what happened today in that report that came out. Well, hello there, Mark. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me on the show. How are you?
Very well.
Is it Mark or is it Michael? We're not sure.
It's definitely Mark.
I'm going to blame whoever I was talking to because they put Michael in the message to me, and that's where I went with. No, they didn't. I put Mark. I'm an idiot. So there we go. Mark, welcome to the show.
Truth
Thank
revealed.
you. Can you hear me okay? I'm having a bit of issues with my computer audio here. Are you able to hear me okay?
Absolutely
Yeah, I
perfect.
can hear you.
You hear us?
Brilliant.
Spot on. I saved. Welcome to the show. Fair Game reached out to us about having somebody come on to talk about the organisation, and well, quite fortuitous about what's happened today with the report that came out. I just wonder if you could tell the listeners and viewers about exactly what Fair Game is and what the aim is of Fair Game.
Okay, so Fair Game is basically a collective of like-minded, value-driven clubs. And our aim is quite simple. It's trying to improve the state of the beautiful game in England. We are driven by a set of values that are based on fairness, integrity, openness, transparency, fan engagement, collaboration. We're guided by experts. So I got involved because I'm a lecturer at Nottingham University. My background is football, finance, and governance. And we want clubs to be community-focused assets too. So it's about improving the game, and that's what Fair Game is all about.
And obviously, there was a report that came out today. I can bring it up in the background, some of the bullet points that come out. But it was by Jane Crouch that came out today. And
Tracy Crouch, yes.
Sorry, Tracy Crouch. There's two Crouch. Is Jane involved with the Fair Game and Tracy Crouch with the...
I think that's where, yeah. And then Peter Crouch used to play for Stoke.
Yeah, there we're getting there all in names. So I'd say I'll bring it up in the background about what we've got here. Firstly, though, I'll just put up, this is the website if anyone would like to and visit, and find out more about the organisation. But I'll stop that and I'll bring up some of the bullet points in the background about one second. Here we are.
Professional as ever, aren't we?
Yeah, really professional. We're coming down. I'll go down to the bullet point here. So what's been recommended here in the background? So we've got... it has been recommended, obviously, that there should be a new independent regulator. Is that something that you are fully behind?
Absolutely. I mean, if our manifesto is on the website there, and one of the big things that we call for in our manifesto is a regulator. It's a real shame to have to call for that. You know, we would love it if English football was able to regulate it itself, but I think there's plenty of evidence over the past number of years that show that football hasn't been governing itself in the way that it perhaps should do, and yeah, so I think the independent regulator is the sort of, for me, and I know for Fair Game, the number one thing to come out of the out of the fan-led review. It's the absolute one thing that we really want to see happen.
I mean, this has really been a long time coming because for as long as football's been around, there's always been dodgy owners. There's always been clubs sadly going out of business. We've seen it all too often, and in the past year, of course, with the pandemic, and before that, we've seen Bury and Macclesfield go under. Two famous English Football League clubs have gone. Is this something that you feel that the independent regulator could stop or prevent from happening?
Absolutely. I mean, you take a few of those examples that you have there. Let's take Bury and Macclesfield, and perhaps Derby as well, who are the other one, who are in the news now. Are the proposals from the fan-led review, would they have stopped those from happening? And I think the answer is a resounding yes. The report talks about the regulator having real-time monitoring of football clubs' finances, of being able to step in before things get as bad as they did in all of those cases. Particularly with Macclesfield and particularly Bury, the EFL were largely powerless to sort of do anything about those clubs, because at the end of the day, football clubs are private limited companies that are owned by individuals, and we're sort of at the mercy of those individuals to look after these long-standing community and heritage assets, and the financial controls that the fan-led review are suggesting they are suggesting having the powers to go into football clubs to be able to effectively help them to manage their finances and take action, combined with an improved owners and directors test that will, it looks for the first time it's going to have some subjectivity behind it, and we're going to look for the right kind of people to run our football clubs. So yeah, absolutely welcome those proposals too.
And of course, obviously, Gateshead fans were no stranger to some dubious owners. Our biggest gripe, I think, was at the time is that the FA and National League acted very, very slowly. Would the introduction of this independent regulator speed things up, or would it, because I'm not saying that people would get past the test, but these people got past the current one that's in place, and the FA knew about the involvement of certain individuals from the very beginning and waited till they were gone to punish the club. Surely that has to be something that has to be rectified, because a club being punished, the new owners being punished for the people before them, it just doesn't sit right, really, does it? I know we're a bit on that side of it, but surely in the future it has to be the club that's protected and not not the new owners punished, really.
I'd be inclined to agree with you, Dan, and entirely. And as I say, we're hoping to have intervention rather than some sort of punishment after the event. And that's what the regulation today is, or the report today is suggesting with the new regulations. So yes, hopefully we won't see a repeat of the unfortunate events that happened with Gateshead.
Yeah, and I did see there was a statement from the Premier League on the back of the report that came out, and they seem to think that they have, they do enough by just casting some money to the side, which is a pittance, really, in this grand scheme of things. But that money doesn't seem to be passed out evenly, does it? It just, like, for instance, it goes out to the EFL, and you'll have a club that might have just been in the Premier League for 3 years, very financially stable, go out there, get an equal share, compared to one who might have been struggling in League One, got promoted, and a club that's got millions in the bank to someone that's got maybe not even hundreds of thousands are getting the same money. So is there a way of possibly, well, I don't know, is there plans of how you would put a structure in to make it fairer? Would it be means tested, or?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly where Fair Games ideas come in. So we're trying our best to be solutions focused. The Fan-led Review has suggested that there should be improvement in the distribution, but it has left it to the industry to sort of decide what that is. Now, Fair Game have some ideas about that, but just to reiterate your point there, Dan, a relegated club from the Premier League in its first year will get £55 million in parachute payments. That's more money than is given to League One, League Two, all 72 National League clubs, the Women's Super League, and the Women's Championship put together.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's
more money
well
going to one club than 144. Okay. Even if you drop down into the EFL, the distribution at the moment is on an 80-12-8 basis. A championship gets 80% of the EFL TV deal. The League One get 12%, League Two get 8%. You compare that to attendances, and it's 65, 25, 15. So there's not okay. The Premier League can say that they're doing what they can, and they're the funders of the pyramid below, but it's not enough. We see too many lower league clubs going out of business. I mean, for example, in League Two, the average turnover of a League Two club is £4 million. They get just under £500,000 from the solidarity payments from the Premier League. So you're looking at 1/8 of their income. So it's not really enough to help these clubs. And if you think, well, what are lower league clubs doing for Premier League clubs? Well, there was I saw an image on the internet of the England team. I forget when it was, but the only player in that England team that hadn't at some point in their career played or either been out on loan or played for a low league club was Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's almost your entire England squad. I've had some experience playing in lower leagues to help the development of those players. and that's sort of the beauty and the a lot of the
helps.
It's the romance of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's about. So. But sorry, I've gone off on a tangent. I've forgotten your question.
No.
Don't worry. What I have noticed, I call them Dan. Is that revenge because it's Dave?
I thought he was calling us Dan for a joke there, but no.
Oh, sorry. Is that sorry?
David, it's all right. You got us back. It's good.
I'm so sorry. I'm terrible. I'm terrible with names myself.
So we've got two Michaels and a Dan.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's David, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It happens to the best of us. But you mentioned there that the lower league teams, they help the top, and we're not seeing that come from the top to the bottom. And it's been a gripe for many years, especially since the Premier League has gained in stature around the world. And I even mentioned, for how many years now? Every game when Jamie Vardy scores or during some commentary, it's mentioned he was playing non-league football 8 years ago. It was 7 years ago. He's come from the bottom to the top. He was working in a factory, yada, yada, yada. But, but you don't reciprocate that down the leagues. It isn't, the money isn't filtered down to the money that they're making. Is it, they say is it 300 million a year that an average Premier League team gets from TV rights alone?
It sounds about right. Yeah, I don't have the exact figures in front of me, but yeah, that sounds about right. So the current deal is going to be 5 billion.
Wow.
Over 3 years, which equates to, just with my dodgy calculator maths here, that's going to divide that by 3. That gives you 1.6 billion a year. Divide that by 20 clubs in the Premier League, so it's about 83 million quid a year that a Premier League club is going to get on average, but it is distributed based on league position, so that will be an average.
Yeah, we've got a couple of messages that have come in here. We've got one from Colin Scott. What about wholesale reform of football and governing bodies? Is that would that be an aim or?
Yeah, that's exactly what the regulator is trying to do. So try and take that sort of power, if you like, away from the EFL and the FA, who the FA have been accused of largely being taking a back seat in all of this and leaving the running of the leagues, the Premier League and the EFL. So that's what the regulator is. It's about having that overseer of football for England, and within the fan-led review as well, it talks about improved governance. It talks about implementing a good governance code. So, yeah, we can fingers crossed all of these things do come to fruition, because we have to remember at this point they are only recommendations.
Yeah, I was going to say that. If I know recommendations and maybe how long's a piece of string, but if tomorrow things were put into place, how long do you think it would take to put a regulated body in place that could start to make changes?
It's kind of how long is a piece of string, and it's kind of what is the will to do this. I think the fastest we could possibly hope, the absolute fastest might be a year. I think realistically you're possibly looking at 2 or 3. It's going to be a trade-off between wanting to do this right and getting it there as quickly as we want it to be there. We as you've said, as you said, David, we want this yesterday.
Yeah, I've just had a message there. Obviously, the Gated Supporters Trust was involved in the review as well,
right?
And the Supporters Trust is really the things they've done in the time period that they've done it is quite remarkable. To going from nearly going out of business within 24 hours to being a fan-run club and doing well, and we've got youngsters coming through the system. It just shows you that it can be done, and obviously it's probably a model that other clubs will look at. And is that something that you're very keen to do, to show that it can be done at the lower levels where it can be without throwing money nilly-willy at it?
I think the idea of fan-owned clubs is a fantastic one, but we have to sort of be a little bit realistic about this. The fan-led review hasn't specifically sort of mentioned any powers to sort of fans in order to help them take over their their clubs. And I did see a comment from the Manchester United Supporters Trust that was criticising it for that. I think in the type of economy that we have in the UK, it's largely a capitalist model, and football's very much the same. So you're able to. It's the old age story that you can get to a certain level. And Wickham, I think, are the prime example of one that sort of went probably as far as they could in terms of being fan owned. So although it's
one of the bullet points that I picked up on, which was actually what the point I was probably trying to make, is that the key items of heritage of the club should be protected by a golden share for the fans.
Absolutely.
And that obviously goes into obviously having maybe a seat on the board, or at least a say within the club. So that must be the realistic thing, because obviously if someone owns a football club, and as long as they're running it right, why should they give up anything? But as long as the fans can maybe see how it's run and get an understanding of it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is the sort of the ideal position, really, that fans can hope for. So you have that sort of benevolent owner, but you also have the fans represented on the board and the veto rights with the golden share. So the veto rights are about protecting things like club colours, the badge, the name, where the club plays, changes to the stadium, this kind of thing. So hopefully we won't see a situation where a club is moved 100 miles up the road to a city where there's never had a football club sort of thing, and we won't see teams named Tigers and things like this, or the Bluebirds being made to play in red or anything like this. To
say, Mickey, have you got anything? Because I've been chatting away.
I've just been sitting listening there, and I mean, a lot of this has come because of the Premier League, in my opinion. Because people get to the Championship and it's boom and bust.
Yeah,
it's a boom and bust mentality. You think, well, if I get in there and you're getting 55 million for failing, which chairman's not going to throw money at that?
Yeah, and that's exactly what went wrong with Derby. They throw so much money at trying to get into the Premier League, the promised land, and it's failed. Reading have had a fine this last week. Is it 6 points that they've been fined for overspending on players as well? So just throwing money at the solution isn't a way, of guaranteeing success, which I'm sure a lot of Newcastle fans won't want to hear at the moment with their new owners.
That was another question I was thinking. It's come out. This has come out not long after the PIF have took over Newcastle United Football Club, and we're Gateshead fans first and foremost, but a lot of people are getting the knickers in a twist when people are mentioning what there's the other side of the takeover, which everyone fully understands up here. But then you've got this, and I'm thinking, is this to do with the PIF and things like that? But because my personal belief is every football club, it doesn't matter if you're in the 92 or the 160, whatever, I think every fan, supporters club should at least have 15% of them shares, so that they're allowed a representative on the board. I think every football club, doesn't matter if you're in the Premier League or the bottom of League Two. That's my opinion, and I'd like to see that.
You have to look at what the shares give you, and I think to have any real say in terms of the legal ownership, 25% is where it tips a balance. That's when you can block special resolutions and this kind of thing, so you can stop things like the change of the name and things like this. I think what the golden share is trying to do is effectively give fans that sort of level of sort of veto power without them needing to raise the cash in order to buy that. Because I mean, for some clubs, Premier League clubs, for example,
having the insight as well would also help fans as well, because because they would know what was going to happen. And fan power, of course, they can make it known if they're not don't agree with it. So it works that way as well. As say, if they don't have the financial clout for the shares, at least they can have the knowledge, and that it goes a long way, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this is a bit about fan engagement. This is a bit about communication. The clubs need to be, I mean, I appreciate that there is a commercial aspect to clubs. I appreciate there's a competitive aspect to clubs, but clubs can be a bit more open. And I think we've seen again, a lot of owners who have been very successful in their own businesses, used to running their own empire. They don't need to answer to anybody. All of a sudden, they buy a football club, and they've found that they've been asked, all the questions under the sun about that club. But it's a football club isn't a normal business, and this is why that fan engagement is absolutely crucial. That's a big difference. That sort of social context of the club is what the big difference is, and that's what we want, isn't it? We want to know what's going on with our club. We want to know it's safe. We want to know it's going to be there for the grandkids.
That's it, like.
Definitely.
Well,
say, Mark, before we let you go, if anyone wants to get involved or read up more about it, is the website the best place to go?
Absolutely. So the website is www.fairgameuk.org, and you can read our manifesto on there. Any questions, do get in touch.
Yeah, fantastic. Well,
fantastic.
I'll put the website back up again. Just there behind us. So if anyone does want to go on there, all the information is there as well. So just have a little scroll through and you'll find it all. So Mark, apologies for calling you Michael. I think I did that in the in one of the adverts. So, but Mark,
my apologies for calling you Dan.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm just sitting here watching you two call each other the wrong name. It's fantastic.
But no, Mark, thank you very much. Hopefully, we'll be able to have you on again and talking about hopefully something like this getting across the line. Absolutely. And that'd be fantastic. So say thank you very much. Also, before you go, who do you support?
I'll just move to the side so you can see my stuff in the background there. So the red and white stripes are not Sunderland, as I'm sure many of your viewers might be fearing. That's actually a Stoke City shirt. So I'm originally from Stoke, just like your manager is, and so they'll always be my first team. But I live in Hexham at the moment. So the scarf in the background is a Carlisle scarf. I've been following those for a few years now, so I don't get back to Stoke much. So I've been going and watching Carlisle.
Oh well, fantastic. Well,
is that the gates, or it's close at the gates?
I didn't think that today. I didn't think I might get accused of going the wrong way.
Got a game next Friday if you fancy popping along.
I might do. I just might do that, Mickey.
If you do come to a Gateshead game, get yourself a Gateshead shirt and get Michael on the back. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And say keep going with Fair Game. It's a fantastic thing.
I've got one thing to say before you go, Mark. Look after John Mellish.
Yeah, he's one of
he needs to pull his socks up a bit, I think.
Yeah.
God.
He hasn't hit the ground running this season, has he? Got red card.
Yeah, no, he had a fantastic season last season. First half last season, he was the best player by a country mile. But yeah, his form's dipped a little bit, as has the confidence of some of the teams. So we need we really want to see a few wins for Carlisle in the next few games to lift us away from those relegation spots.
Oh well, enjoy the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll see you at the International Stadium, and thank you again. Thank you.
Take care.
Was Mark there, not Michael? I couldn't believe that. I was like,
well, it can happen to anyone, but that was happening to you.
It does always happen to me. We're going to play what you should do for liking and subscribing to the show. When we come back, we'll carry on with your messages and keep sending them in.
Hello everybody, remember to like and subscribe and share the show.
Yes, like and subscribe. Please do that. One sec, we got a message here from James Gowland. He's put, did anyone notice that the Chronicle did not put the replay win anywhere in the back page the day after? Could not find any mention of it whatsoever on their website either. That's disappointing. I didn't notice that.
Gary Mills on the KSL sorted out.
Well, you would imagine they're going to be there in force, the local media. We're hoping to go down to the press conference and get some interviews and some footage as well to put on the show before the big game against Charlton. So that'll be.
Does that include me or just you?
I mean, it's just me. We've got, but how many spaces? I'm still waiting for my invite and when it is. So hopefully do that. And of course, we're hoping to bring you the full match commentary for anyone that can't make it if they're living abroad and cannot watch it on the telly either. So we're really looking forward to that.
Where are you going to sit then? Because I imagine
I would imagine we'll be opening the press box right in the far corner if there's room for us, because I would imagine there'll be a lot of press there for that game. Mr. Lucas put, hello, gents. Sorry I'm late. What a run we're on at the moment. Got my tickets for the massive game against Charlton, expecting a massive atmosphere. Over 2K can be expected at the Gateshead International Stadium, and I think 3,000 to 4,000, hopefully, with the media build-up of what I'm expecting this week. And we're going to try and push it as much as we can, but it doesn't really need that much pushing, does it? It does
actually. Just keep, when the club retweeted the thing about the Charlton game, just keep retweeting it, lads.
I mean, for Gateshead fans, it doesn't need much pushing.
But I know, I'm just saying, though, just keep pushing it out there. That's what I've done the other day.
Retweet everything. Dave Allen, good friend of the show. Evening, lads. How good is it to be involved with the club? What a team. The contractors were at the stadium installing more floodlights today. So there we go. The floodlight brigade can stop the whinging now.
Nice, yeah, Davey.
Yeah, that's really good. So I did know they were putting in LED lights, so it is going to be brighter. I just wasn't going to get involved in the conversation. But hopefully it'll be nice and bright there now, and everyone that will be able to see things. And we've got. I'm a massive Dave Allen fan, says Mr. Luke. So there we go. We are going to
t-shirt, Davey.
Yeah. Also, as well, if you are just joining us, we've been speaking to Mark Midland from Fair Game. It's fantastic. So these are the topics tonight. Of course, we've already spoke there. We're going to be. This is the topic we're going to bring up now. Actually, shortly is rest players. We're going to speak Mason Ford and obviously the 2 wins, but Saturday coming up should make rest players had failed. We've got a massive game. FA Trophy is a big tournament as well for us. That's it's a realistic chance of getting to Wembley, but it's a big payday against Charlton, and funnier things have happened in the FA Cup. If you can get through, it's an even bigger payday. Silverware would be nice in the FA Trophy. If we play our game, we've got a chance against anyone. But financial stability for the next few years, if the football gods are on our side.
I've always wanted to win, though, Davey.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm just posing the question. It's a talking point.
Yeah. But I'm on the same page as yourself. I think we will make changes. Well, Louis Story's pretty much said that, hasn't he? So
we've got that to play out. Actually, we'll play that out very shortly. We just got a message from Norway. Norway calling. The cup match is on pay TV in Norway. Going to the pub with some friends. Can't wait to watch. Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's good news.
Yeah, God, no. Yeah. Norway, horse on pay TV, blood, yeah.
That's all right. Like, it's not bad. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to play out the interview from Gateshead FC TV. Like and subscribe them, please. This is what Lewis Story has to say before this weekend's game. And just a side note, there is a weather warning right across the country this weekend with 80-mile-an-hour winds and snow as well right across the country. So I don't know if that game will be on. Fingers crossed it is, because you don't want games called off. But we'll have to wait and see. But this is what Lewis Story had to say to Gateshead FC TV earlier today.
Louis, so coming off the back of another away win on Tuesday at Curzon Ashton and going into another away game on Saturday, how's everyone looking off the back of, as I say, another difficult test on Tuesday?
Yeah, the group's really positive. Got plenty of confidence on the back of a really, really impressive spell from the boys in terms of the 4 results that we picked up across the 10-day period. Shows how much that the group is really growing on an individual basis, but also as a team we're getting stronger, winning games in different fashions. So the group is good, it's lively, and we're really looking forward to our next game.
And how much confidence do those away performances in recent weeks give you heading into another tough test at Fylde this weekend?
It's huge. The away tests that we've had, Curzon, Spennymoor, Altrincham, they're all huge games in their own rights, whether it was the cup replay and then 2 really strong opponents away from home. And to do that in quick succession is really shown the strength that the squad's got. It's really impressive, and it's something that we'll embrace going forward into Saturday's game, because they're a really good team. We've played them recently, so we know firsthand how strong they've been, or how strong they are and have been playing. But it's a test that we're really looking forward to, and them results that you mentioned, that means that we can go there with that real ruthless mentality for the game, that we're going to go there and we're going to try and win the game of football, and we're back ourselves to go and win the game of football.
And speaking on Fylde, of course, been flying in the league, obviously, as you say there, played them at their place not too long ago in the league as well. I mean, can you take sort of anything from that game, or do you feel it'll maybe be a bit of a different encounter with it being in the trophy this weekend?
I think there's loads we can take from that game. Overall, it was a good performance, and when we did our debrief and reflection with the boys, there was a few things that we could have just done a little bit more, but them things were that we felt were controllables and things that we can really take ownership and accountability for. So we'll be looking to embed them into our game plan on Saturday, building on the performance that we had against them, because we felt that we were really unlucky to come away from the game without a minimum of a point, because we played really well, and it was just maybe that conviction in the final third, and obviously preventing that 5-minute spell, conceding the 2 goals. So there's definitely something for to build on from last time we were there, but also since then we've grown and we've adapted to our game even more so, hence the really, really impressive results that we've had.
With it obviously being in the trophy this weekend, sort of the first entry into the competition for yourselves this season, is it a good chance to keep the winning momentum of recent weeks going, or are you looking to sort of rotate players around potentially?
I think there's going to be a bit of both, the balance there, so there'll be some opportunities for players who return from injury and some players that might not play as many minutes, so it's going to be fantastic for them because they're going to be able to really showcase themselves in a really competitive game against a really strong opposition, and it shows the kind of the strength and depth that we have from all the players in our squad. So that, and then also we'll be looking to continue the good run of form that we've had, and I think what has been really good of recent is that ruthless mentality in terms of every game and every win that we've had has been great, but it's almost that's just part of the puzzle, and that's just part of the process, in that there's always that real should we say that positive mentality to embrace it, but also to build on it each and every time and not get carried away with any results. So we've got that building from the last 3-4 games, knowing that we're going to go on a really good encounter on Saturday, one that we're really looking forward to and positive about, and it's going to be a great opportunity for some players to really cement their place in the starting 11.
In terms of the team news sort of going into the weekend, obviously Macaulay Langstaff missed the last couple of games, was having a scan this week. Do you have any sort of update on the situation with him at the minute?
Update is that since he was injured last week, there's been some really good improvements, so we're hopeful that that's going to continue going forward, and that he returns to the squad as soon as possible, because we've all know how good he's been this season. He's been a real figurehead for us, and we just want to see him back on the pitch working hard, and he's also a great character in around the group as well, so yeah, fingers crossed he's back as soon as possible. Well,
there, Lewis Story talking to Gateshead FC TV. We've got Mason waiting in the background. Just before we bring him in, we've got a few messages to read out as well. Debbie Bailey has tweeted us. She's put, "Evening, the Baileys are tuned in. Hashtag Heed Army and hashtag sit behind you." I don't know if that's a threat, Mickey.
Yeah.
You need to control yourself. But Debbie, I want you on the show next week, because I want to have a parent's perspective of the players going into a big game. So if you'd like to come on next week, let us know and we'll arrange that. We've already had him on. We've already had Owen on. So hopefully we can have Debbie on. That'll be the highlight of the podcast so far this season. We'll be
and Kedwin's Nana. We'll have to have Kedwin's Nana on.
And get Meg on, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Get them on at the same time. Who's the biggest super fan? We've got David, Mr. Luke has put York City, of course, they are coming on the 7th now. Rearranged game Tuesday the 7th at home, Gateshead International Stadium. You can get your tickets for that on the club website. And Dave Edwards has put interesting post on the Heed Army page about Rob Elliott helping out in the match days. Does anyone know his role? I know he trained with the club and his friends.
I think he was on the bench at Altrincham as well.
Yeah, I believe he's helping out with the coaching. So, yeah, fantastic. So,
Talking of which, I had a podcast since Pete Aldi.
We didn't, because it was a Monday night show, wasn't it? That we had in the building to it. And Mr. Lucas, please arrange for me to come on. We will. It's fantastic. Anyone else that wants to come on, we'll arrange that as well. But right, we're going to bring on our next guest. Hello, Mason. How are you doing?
Hello. Hello. Yourself?
Yeah, fantastic.
Where are you? Underground bunker?
No.
So, Mason, you must be buzzing for the Charlton game coming up.
I think we've got problems here.
I'm breaking up.
Can you hear us?
I'm breaking up.
Are you breaking up? Oh,
well,
if you log out and then come back in, we'll try it again. So see, there you go. He's logged back out. We'll play a quick advert. Remember, sending your messages, like and subscribe. And as I say, these things happen, but we'll endeavour to get them on. And well, as I say, we'll be back with you after this.
Hello everybody, you might remember me. I'm that ball that Paul Blacker kicked down the Tyne. But look, don't worry, I found a new home, it's lovely. But please like and subscribe to the Heed Army podcast. Don't worry, Paul, I still love you.
I messaged him, to say, I hope you weren't offended by it. He goes, I haven't seen it. I was like, I bet you haven't. Yeah. Right. Well, I was still waiting for Mason to try and come on, but so we are talking. Maybe we should have about the what we put the 1 second. Should we rest players, rotate players? Should be the better use of words. But we've got Mason back here. Hopefully, you can hear us now. How are you doing, Mason?
All right, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, fantastic. Can you hear us now? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. But yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, oh, good. Are you looking forward to the Charlton game? Oh, I think we're gonna have to. I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll try and arrange it for next week, Mason. Just technology problems. I just don't think it's gonna work tonight. It's just one of them things. Sadly, it's just the internet connection, or depends on the device that you're using. But as I say, we'll definitely get Mason on in the future, or do a pre-record interview with him at the game. And right, we've got woohoo, another classic sketch. Can you hear me now? Yeah, so we're just gonna have to get a better bit of string on between the computers. That's where it is. But yeah, as I say, I think a rotation would be advisable. Of course, we've been playing very well. It's a perfect opportunity to give the likes of Ryan Womble another start, to get see if Elliot Forbes is in line to get a start as well, or some minutes under his belt. It is the time to bring these players in, isn't it?
It is. Like Connor Pani as well. Congratulations to Connor as well, getting selected for the England college team.
Yeah, beat me to it.
Fantastic. Like Connor Pani, hopefully Danny Greenfield is ready to come back onto the pitch. Luke, get him on as well. Ryan Womble. All these need time, and if we can get them the game time at Fylde in the trophy, I do not see why not.
And it's good competition as well. That they're top of the league, they're top of the league for a reason. They're up there. That's where we want to be. And if these players want to take the chance, it's the team to take a chance against, isn't it?
You make a hell of a statement for themselves. I'm telling you, against the league leaders, I have a funny feeling they might rest a few and concentrate on the league.
Mm-hmm. It's
who knows? I mean, tough game. I mean, his ties we couldn't get much harder. Really well. I've drawn someone from the National League, I suppose.
My camera's gone there. 1 second.
Oh well. Welcome to Mickey's podcast.
Podcast. Yeah, but I mean, it's just going to be absolutely fantastic, isn't it? The build up this week. If we can get something out of that game, good. But if we can get through it and get players minutes as well, there's positives to be taken from that. But just while we're on, if you're just joining us, remember it is advisable to get your tickets as early as possible for the Charlton game. We aren't an official podcast with the club, but we do promote everything to do with the club. So go on the club website, club social media, you'll find links to buy your tickets. There is over 1,500 tickets already sold. The Tyne and Wear stand is where you want to be, because if there is more sold, then you might risk not being under the covers. The away fans will be in the East stand on the night, so get your tickets early. That's what I'm saying, and hopefully you can be part of something special down there at Gateshead International Stadium on December the 1st.
It'll be a wonderful, wonderful evening for the club.
Yeah,
and I mean, we're still talking about the FA Trophy game, and it's like I keep saying, it's a trophy I would love to win, go to Wembley and pick it up.
Yeah, it's
overshadows it, isn't it?
It's a realistic one, and the thing is, we're battling on 3 fronts, which is quite unusual for us. In the scheme of things, you've got a chance of a tough chance, albeit Charlton at home it's not an easy game, but you're 90 minutes away from the 3rd round and potentially one of the biggest clubs in the world. If you're lucky enough in the draw, and then you've got the FA Trophy, and then you've got us playing very well in the league as well. So you just hope that we can keep it going, and whatever happens regardless on Friday night against Charlton next week, that we can just keep it going in the league and in the FA Trophy.
Well, the league's a bread and butter. Simple as, isn't it? You want the league's the main thing.
Yeah,
I think the club's priority is promotion.
Definitely.
So,
Mason said he's going to come on another time when he's in another room, better signal. Well,
he looked as if he was in a bunker.
I know. We'll do it next week because we're running out of time, Mason. We'll get a pre-recorded the match. We'll record an interview and get you on. And also we've got here. If you leave it too late, you'll end up with a ticket behind the goal in the far end. Yeah, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. You want to be in that main stand under the covers. And let's put that. Imagine if it rains when we play Charlton. Well, it'll keep their fans quiet if it does. I
would be jumping around just to keep warm.
Yeah, it's.
How many times did we used to do it in the old days, Davey? You got time with them, you clap your hands.
You had to, or the fingers would fall off. As I say, it is just going to be absolutely fantastic. And also as well, if you haven't seen the Insight video by Gateshead FC TV, the Centurion in conversation and going down memory lane and talking about current times with Greg Ollie, please do so. That's on all of Gateshead FC's social media and on YouTube. Jack McGragan, the club's media manager, press officer, has done an absolutely sterling job on that. It was a lump at the back of the throat watching it type of stuff, and we obviously thank him for adding us in, and hearing Mickey's voice talking about being back in the stand as well was great. It's a surprise to have us in there, so big thank you.
Very surprising. I mean, I still remember that day against Kettering. I actually did walk straight up and stand in the stand, and God knows how many times I've seen it, Davey, the pitch and everything that goes with it, but I just stood there, and like I said on the video, it was like, wow, I'm back.
Mind you, we're still waiting for a message from Debbie Bailey to see if she's going to come on next week. But no, definitely, say it was obviously great to have fans back, and it still is. It's still a talking point when we're doing the commentary, when people are coming in, and we're seeing people, you know, come into the game late as well, big crowds. I mean, this could, well, is this going to be the fifth or the fourth or the fifth game over 1,000? What an achievement! When was the last time that happened? You know,
in the Gary Mills' season.
Yeah. So, you know, we're talking a big achievement here, considering the league that we're in as well. You know, the hats have to go off to people completely around. And 1 second here, we've got expect Dave to be screaming down the microphone if we score last minute winner against Charlton. I'll be crying.
I don't think Dave will get drowned out by me.
Yeah, I think, I'll see.
I hope Debbie does come on, by the way, because I'm not just saying it because listen, because Owen's just going from strength to strength. He was excellent again on Tuesday night. I thought Kedwin Scott was man of the match until he went off. He played outstanding on Tuesday night for me. But coming to the end of the month, if you had to pick a player of the month, it's going to be a struggle to pick a player of the month for Gates. I tell you.
I've already done it once this season. I said I was a little bit underwhelmed by the signing of Lewis Story. I vet my words. He's been a fantastic signing. He's an integral part of the squad, starting lineup. And Owen's first game in the league, I thought myself, oh, he's a little bit way off here. He looks a little bit lightweight, and he's made me them words ever since. He's worked hard. He battles. His game IQ is very high as well. He knows where to be on the pitch.
I didn't blow that much smoke, man. He'll go into bits, man.
But all the players are like that at the minute, and it's, you know what it is. I can't remember a podcast when we've had to go, oh, he had a bad game. Dread it when we have to. That's when all the families tune out.
I'll tell you what it is. We're talking about Altrincham going back. You had to pick a man in the match for Altrincham. Louis was probably the man for me, like.
Yeah.
And McCody got 2 goals that day, and Greg played well as well. Well, they all played well, but I thought Louis was fantastic against Alty.
Well, I think James Gowland has been at the wine gums tonight, and maybe a canitizer, because he's put, we will blow a 3-0 lead against Charlton, but score a stoppage time winner, 4-3. You heard it here first. I'll take it.
You know what it is, James? It's typical Gates to do it, though.
As long as I know that's definitely going to happen, so I don't soil my underpants. But yeah, I think that would be a hell of a way to get through, wouldn't it? We've got parent fan show next week. Yeah, but fantastic. I would say we've come to the end there. We've had a good show. Unfortunately, we didn't get to speak to Mason. Technology problems. 1 second, we've got a message here from Jack. Jack's put, great show tonight. Had a great time at Spennymoor. Can't wait for Charlton. Any idea when Langstaff will be back? I'm hoping for the Charlton game. I don't know if it's going to be too soon, but you know,
the words there by, I think the club could be playing it to the chest. I've got a funny feeling. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing here. I've got a funny feeling Mac is not as bad as the first feared, and I think the club are just keeping it under wraps.
Time will tell. Time will tell, and hopefully he has a part to play in that Charlton game. But yeah, no, a massive thank you to everyone. We've had good viewing figures tonight. Really, really do appreciate it. So, especially when I'm a Celebrity's on, it's always harmed us back over the years, hasn't it? When we used to do the audio one, you'd always have a dip when it was Ant and Deck, them horrible buggers.
I'm going to say one thing before we're gone, Davey. I travelled out there. As me and another half travelled down with Davey, Hebby and Steve, and I have never laughed there and back so much to the point we went tears. I daren't go into what the conversation was, but all I'll mention is raccoons, and if Davey or Steve's listening, they'll know what they mean. But I will tell you off air, mate. It's not as funny to tell you, but trust me, it was hilarious at the time.
Yeah, well, let's say a big thank you to everyone. Let's say if you're going down to Fylde, let's hope the game is on. If you've already booked a hotel, if you're stopping over in Blackpool for the night, this is weather warning, so do be safe. Travel down. If it gets bad, pull over, let it blow over, and get there safe and come back safe as well. And hopefully the lads can get down there and come back with a win and get us in the hat for Monday night. But if it isn't, it's not the end of the world. But what a week we've got in the build up to the Charlton game. I don't know what night we'll be going live with the podcast. Depends on what day the press conference is. I would imagine maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. So it might be Thursday next week, the day before. We might have a big build up. But keep posted on social media. We'll be doing putting everything out. And big thank you to everyone that's tuned in tonight. Mickey, thank you as ever. And to Mark Midland, not Michael. Thank you to him as well. Mason, thank you for coming as well. Sadly, the technical problems just let us down there, but we'll get him on again. We're setting out the challenge to Debbie Bailey to come on next week, and Meg as well. We're gonna reach out and get some of the players' families.
Before we're gone, Davey, I've just remembered something. The pre-Christmas podcast.
Aha.
We will have some form of raffle to win Gary Mills's book. It has been signed by Millsy. And if I can get to the bloody page where he signed it, it has been signed to the Heat podcast. Me and Davey will hopefully come up with some kind of where it's got to be funny and we've got to like it and to win the book.
Right. Well, we'll sort that out before the pod, probably the week before Christmas, so we can get it out. But that'd be fantastic. A big thank you as well, to Gary Mills for doing that, and to Mickey for getting it sorted. So it's been a fantastic show. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. Remember, like and subscribe, share the show. That's what we want. And we just keep it going. And next week, the excitement will build. And it's just what a time.
Tell you what it is. If we do the podcast next Thursday, us two are going to be on the ceiling, like every Heat fan.
Just a bit.
Trina said to me the other day, we're wishing our lives away.
It's what is it? This is such a strange feeling to be. Just everything is fantastic at the minute, and long may it continue. And just see it every show. But Mike Williamson, Ian Watson, Lewis Story, Chris Bell, the other people that are involved at the club behind the scenes, just massive pat on the back. And also as well, before we go, I actually got my car stickers. I forgot all about them from the Booster Budget.
Ooh.
Yeah, they turned up out the blue. I forgot all about them. So big thank you. So if anyone else from Tracy at the Gated Soul and everyone else involved there, thank you. So I'll be putting them on my car.
Another thing, Dave. Sorry, I keep saying another thing. The Charlton game.
Yeah.
It's been said in the media. I've said it on the radio. Mickey Scully said it. Mark Carruthers done a piece in the Sunday Echo about it. Charlton game. That is for everyone who put their hands in their pocket, whether you joined the Soul or you pulled the money out to pull the cup from the brink. I hope each and every one of them thoroughly enjoys that Charlton game, because that one, the lads have won it for you in my book.
Certainly have. I mean, we're not going about where we've come from, where we're at, but everyone knows. Everybody knows. Well, on that note, we are going to say goodbye. We'll see you next week. And we'll advertise on social media what day it is. It probably will be Thursday. But thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Take